Guys, Yamoshi with her incredible beauty brought some pursuers into her life like her own ex-husband known as Hiroki. But there is a black Namekian who was expelled from his village and now he is back and promises to have Yamoshi all to himself. Will he succeed? And what will be Goku's reaction when he discovers this story? Well, let's see that now, but before we get started, let's hit our goal of likes and let's unite to make the biggest Genki Dama to beat 3K of likes. And as soon as we reach our goal, I'll bring in the next episode in sequence. So grab a bucket of popcorn and your soda and come with me. Yamoshi's ex-husband appears. His name is Hiroki. And who is the mysterious Namekian? In the 7th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, more precisely on one of the planets of that universe, it was possible to see Hiroki sitting on some rubble while having an individual with the appearance of a lizard under his feet. That being that looked like a lizard had several injuries all over his body, and that being no longer had one of his legs, and most of the wounds he had were deep, and a lot of blood was coming out. But that being looked like he wasn't going to die because of the loss of blood, since that being had a certain degree of regeneration, and this was possible to be seen thanks to the wounds that were self-healing little by little. Hiroki said, "Well, it looks like we've already finished showing who is the king, and who is the worm that will be crawling on the ground. So let's skip the formalities. Just tell me where you found a woman with long white hair, who must have humiliated you in a very easy way. So where is my dear Yamoshi?" said the Saiyan while looking at the lizard-like being that was on the ground trying to regain his strength. Namek spoke. "I'm Namek, one of the warriors of an ancient lineage of lizard men, and we are descendants of the great dragons. And because of that, I'd rather die than reveal information about a formidable warrior who defeated me in the past. I know you don't have good intentions with that warrior, but I already say that I will never give you information about her." Namek spoke using the forces he still possessed, showing that even being treated like a worm by Hiroki, he wasn't going to reveal anything about Yamoshi. That was good for Hiroki because Namek had just revealed that he knew Yamoshi and really faced her in the past, which made the Saiyan smile. Hiroki thought, so, Namek really knew Yamoshi and faced her in the past. That means that Yamoshi is still alive and somehow managed to hide her own existence all these years. But now I'm very close to knowing the truth and nothing will stop me from being able to find my beloved Yamoshi, let alone this stupid worm. The Saiyan thought before lifting one of his feet and stepping hard on Namek's head, making his face sink into the ground and a little blood coming out of a wound he had on his head. Hiroki said, "Look, I'll give you two options. The first is you tell me what I want to know, and I'll kill you, but I'll let your family live in peace. The second option, I'll kill you and make your family slaves, and for all I know there's a planet that sees its people as a delicacy, and they would pay a huge fortune for good ingredients. So which one do you choose? Do you want me to eliminate you and leave your family alone? Or do you want me to eliminate you and sell your family like dog food?" asked the Saiyan with a big evil smile on his face, as he continued to step on Namek's head without caring if he was feeling pain or not. Namek didn't know what he should do. He didn't know if he should put his honor and pride above his family or not, because for the members of his race, pride and honor was everything, and losing her was like losing your own soul, or living a lifetime of sadness, something that no member of his race liked, and a race of lizards would even rather lose their lives than have to live a life without honor. So that dilemma was something difficult for Namek. After a few minutes of thinking, he managed to make his own decision. Hiroki said, "Have you decided what you're going to choose? Because I don't have all day. I have to go after my ex-wife, so answer soon," Hiroki said while removing his foot from Namek's head so that he could speak. The Saiyan waited for Namek to say what he wanted to hear, otherwise Hiroki would have to finish off Namek right then and there. Namek said, "When I fought this warrior named Yamoshi, I was on a blue and red planet located in the extreme south of the universe. When I faced Yamoshi, she was helping some people from that planet. And if I remember correctly, Yamoshi was with a group of refugees from a planet destroyed by a being called Frieza. And his army that had destroyed a planet, she was helping people to take refuge. But I don't know if Yamoshi is on that planet yet or not. But there was a last place I saw the powerful warrior. And maybe there you can find out where Yamoshi is currently." Namek spoke in a low tone, but audible enough so that the Saiyan would be able to hear his words. Hiroki ended up smiling at that information. Hiroki thought, "A blue and red planet in the far south of the universe. I know where it is, so I don't need that disgusting worm anymore." the Saiyan thought as he got up and then started to float away from that planet. Namek said, "Hiroki said he would kill me and spare my family, but apparently he sees me as an insignificant insect that doesn't even deserve to be killed by his hands. At least my family and I are safe. Well, I have to get my family off this planet as quickly as possible and take them as far away from this monster as possible before he changes his mind and comes back." Namek spoke as he got up, little by little, and when Namek managed to get up, he started to walk until he arrived in a room where his wife and son were. When they saw Namek, they ran to him, hugged him, because they were worried and afraid. Namek said, "We have to go before Hiroki comes back, because I think he forgot about us. But it won't take long for him to remember, and if that happens, we will have lost our lives." Namek said while looking at his family, who agreed with Namek's words, and soon they all left the house with everything they could take and went to Namek's spaceship. On the moment the family entered the spacecraft, they ended up seeing a huge reddish glow, similar to the sun of the solar system. And when they looked out of the spacecraft, Namek and his family saw a gigantic sphere of energy coming from the planet's orbit. This sphere was so large that it would be able to cover the entire planet. Namek said, "It looks like that monster has forgotten his promise. I see he has no intention of fulfilling part of his plan. But what we can expect from a monster without honor like Hiroki?" Namek said while looking at the sphere of energy coming towards him. Hiroki said, "Did Namek and his family really think they were going to make me waste so much time and then leave without any kind of punishment? As if I'm too pious to allow Namek and his family to leave without any divine punishment." Hiroki spoke with a big evil smile on his face, and he saw his ki attack go towards the planet. And when the attack collided, a big explosion happened, completely destroying the planet and all the living beings that inhabited it. Hiroki said, "Well, now I already know where Yamoshi could possibly be. But I doubt she's there yet, since she's smart enough not to stay in very busy places, like that planet that is a center of mercenary and refugees. But I don't care. After all, this is the best tip I've had in many years." Hiroki spoke excitedly while thinking about his reunion with his ex-wife, who should already know that Hiroki was back. While Hiroki thought about his future reunion with his ex-wife and watched the wreckage of the planet, a being appeared behind him. That being had a humanoid appearance and characteristics of a white fox, with some red details spread over his body, and with the arrival, the white fox, Hiroki snapped out of his thoughts to greet his visitor. Hiroki spoke. "Looks like you managed to recover already. Well, apparently the recovery of you beings from another dimension is better than the natural recovery that our world has. So now that you're recovered, what do you plan to do, Caillou?" asked the Saiyan as he turned around and looked at the humanoid fox, who was sitting on his own fox tails. Caillou said, "I'll recover first and then I'll go after the god of destruction that left me in this state. But until then I'll follow you, because if I go with you I can find something fun to do. And I'm sure that somehow that god of destruction is linked to this Yamoshi person, as he mentioned the name while fighting me. But I don't think we're going to be able to go to that god of destruction now," said the fox while looking at the Saiyan, who just smiled at that. Hiroki said, "I've been behind Yamoshi for years, so waiting a little won't hurt. And if we find that god of destruction, I'll let you beat him. And then I'll interrogate him to find out more information about my ex-wife. Meanwhile, let's go behind Yamoshi for the information we have," Hiroki said before flying towards the planet where Namek had spoken. Hiroki was being followed by Caillou. Many years ago, before Goku and Vegeta found out their ancestor Yamoshi was alive, the ancestor of the Saiyans had always been the target of many men and even women, and because of her beauty, Yamoshi had several pursuers who tried everything to have her for themselves. But none of them had managed to make the Saiyan enter into a serious relationship. Among these pursuers was a certain Namekian who was very fond of Yamoshi, since the Namekian was young and at the time he tried to make Yamoshi feel attracted to him. But Yamoshi always ignored all his attempts to get close to her. And the ancestor of the Saiyans didn't even remember his face or name. Upon realizing that Yamoshi didn't remember him, that Namekian trained every day to become more powerful so he could stay with Yamoshi. But even so, she didn't want to stay with him, and that angered the Namekian, who used the authority his father possessed to create an arranged marriage with Yamoshi. But the marriage did not work out, and so the Namekian tried to face Yamoshi, who defeated him easily. Even after being defeated, the Namekian continued to do the same things for years and was always rejected. The Namekian tried to act as if he commanded Yamoshi, touching her body, and he always received a blow that made him fly away, which was making the Namekian extremely angry. Many years later, currently in the 7th universe, more precisely in one of the farthest places from the 7th universe, it was possible to see a planet that had the size of a medium moon, and that planet had an extremely evolved technological level compared to other planets, such as the planet Earth. This evolved planet had blue seas and pieces of land in a red tone, and was also a planet where several galactic mercenaries went to be able to buy weapons, supplies, and sell their services as mercenaries. Some people who inhabited the planet were refugees, and others were being wanted for their crimes on other planets. The intergalactic police did not enter the planet because they were afraid of being killed by the hands of mercenaries who did not have the slightest mercy when eliminating their targets, and the police were always targets, since they were the law and the mercenaries were the outlaws. So in a nutshell, none of them really liked each other, and when they met, they always got into a fight, where often the police were the ones who were very injured or eliminated by the mercenaries and some guardians of the planet. Among all those mercenaries that were currently in a bar that was quite full, there was a certain black-skinned Namekian named Kukuon, who, by the name, was the same Namekian that had been humiliated and despised by Yamoshi a long time ago. Now, Kukuon was on this planet drowning his sorrows in the drink while betting on some games and earning a little money. Kukuon knew that 2 Saiyans had appeared on his planet, and unlike him, the Saiyans had been well received by Yamoshi, and that made Kukuon even more irritated than before, because in addition to being humiliated and rejected, Yamoshi treated 2 ruthless Saiyans better than she treated the future elder of the Black Namekians, and it was a laughingstock among his villagers. Kukuon thought, I can't believe that damn Yamoshi traded me for those 2 damn Saiyans. Those damn monkeys! Thought Kukuon, very irritated at having been exchanged for 2 Saiyans who in his view were just useless monkeys that didn't deserve Yamoshi's attention. Kukuon thought, that damn Yamoshi really dared to hit me even though I gave her the glorious honor of becoming my wife. Yamoshi rejected me in a very humiliating way, and because of her everyone in the village was laughing at me. Even my father said that I was a disgrace, and that he would focus his attention on training my brother, so that he could be the new elder, because I was not worthy to be an elder. Kukuon thought irritably as he drank a little of his drink and then slammed the glass on the counter with force, making a loud noise. But nobody cared about it since things like that were common in a bar. Kukuon thought, if I am not worthy of being an elder, then no one is worthy either, because I am the strongest, the smartest, and the most beautiful among my brothers and sisters. If my father thinks I don't deserve to become an elder, it means no one deserves it, thought the Namekian, irritated as he drank his drink. This time Kukuon drank until he finished all he had in the glass, and then asked the bartender for another drink. He filled the Namekian's glass. Kukuon thought, it's that damn Yamoshi's fault. If that bitch hadn't rejected me, I wouldn't be the joke among my people. They would now be kissing my feet like they always did. Yamoshi, I swear I will make you pay for the humiliation you put me through. The Saiyans are a race of warriors who are always looking for a good fight. So if I become stronger, I can go after Yamoshi and defeat her. Even if it takes 100 years, I will defeat Yamoshi. Kukuon thought as he drew up a plan to humiliate Yamoshi, and the best way to do that was to become stronger and defeat her in a fight. Kukuon was thinking about his plans for the future, where he would find a way to defeat and humiliate the Saiyan ancestor Yamoshi, and thus regain his honor. If Kukuon succeeded, he would be hailed as a king again. And as everyone sees Yamoshi as a pillar or an unshakable barrier, once Yamoshi was defeated, Kukuon would become even more desirable than he already was in the past. But while Kukuon was thinking about what he was going to do to get revenge on Yamoshi, everyone in the bar turned and looked at the entrance of the bar, where Hiroki and Caillou were entering, and at that moment they both entered the place. The mood and atmosphere became heavier than before. Everyone had felt that change in atmosphere except Kukuon, who was more focused on his thoughts than around him. Most of the people who were in that bar were mercenaries, and when they looked at Hiroki, most of them remembered that the Saiyan had a bounty of billions or even trillions on his head. Both the people of the other races and the Galactic Police wanted to eliminate the threat that it was Hiroki as soon as possible. Hiroki spoke. It seems that we have a very large group of mercenaries, and apparently the bounty on my head is higher than before. So are you going to stay put, or are you going to try to hurt me at least? It's been a while since I've dealt with mercenaries, so I hope I'm not rusty. Hiroki spoke while looking at the mercenaries with an arrogant smile which made everyone irritated with the tone Hiroki used. The mercenaries slowly started to stand up and face the Saiyan, who remained standing, still waiting for the mercenaries to make the first move. And seeing that, Caillou started walking until he reached the counter and sat on it. And in doing so, he used his tails to grab a bottle that was on the shelf and filled his glass, completely ignoring the fight that would start in that establishment. It didn't take long for one of the mercenaries to advance against Hiroki, and in doing so, the mercenary unsheathed his sword and tried to perform a top-down cut on Hiroki, who held the blade of the sword and with a simple slap ended up making the mercenary go against the wall. Seeing that the other mercenaries advanced against Hiroki, who just laughed at that useless attempt by those mercenaries, for the next few minutes, all those who passed near that bar heard the agonized screams of the mercenaries being slaughtered, and it was even ridiculous how all the mercenaries were defeated and eliminated in a short period of time. Hiroki didn't even have a scratch on his body, even fighting with several mercenaries. After some time, it was possible to see that the bar was all destroyed, with broken chairs and tables, cracked and fallen walls, glasses and bottles destroyed, and many other things had been destroyed during the bar fight, and Caillou, who was still drinking, had some bottles already empty by his side, showing that that fight didn't disturb his leisure time, enjoying some drinks he never tasted because they didn't exist in his home world. Caillou thought, "These drinks are better than those in my world. While he investigates the whereabouts of that Yamoshi woman, I'll enjoy drinking as much as possible," thought the fox while drinking and enjoying the taste of those drinks. There were several empty bottles next to Caillou and other full ones that he was holding with his tail so that the bottles wouldn't break in the middle of the bar fight. Hiroki said, "Well, it looks like all these worms can't move anymore. So now it's time for me to ask the question that brought me here. I hope you have the information I need. If not, I'll destroy this bar, just like I did with the other establishments I went to before," said the Saiyan before sitting down in one of the counter chairs. Hiroki sat beside Kukuan, who finally realized what was happening, and was now afraid of the Saiyan beside him. Caillou spoke. "If you want to live, you better tell everything you know about a white-haired Saiyan named Yamoshi, who faced a lizard-like being in the past. You speak the truth and you can live, and even earn a reward in addition to continuing to live. But if you don't know anything related to Yamoshi, then it's better to ask for protection from the god you believe in," said the fox before returning to drink his drink quietly. Caillou's speech made those who were still conscious fear Hiroki, who was grinning evilly, just waiting to eliminate the rest of them. Kukuan said, "By the way you acted, I'm sure you don't want to talk to Yamoshi. By the energy that Hiroki is transmitting, I would say that your intentions are not good," said the Namekian while looking at Hiroki, who stared at him at that moment. Hiroki said, "Do you know where Yamoshi is, Namekian?" asked the Saiyan with absolute certainty that the one in front of him had information about his ex-wife. Kukuan thought, "I myself wanted to defeat and humiliate Yamoshi, but I think these two should already be able to do that. So why not let them do the dirty work, and then when this Hiroki and Caillou guy are tired, I'll eliminate them both and become the village hero. Yamoshi, wait for my revenge, it's about to begin," thought the Namekian while he saw the opportunity to take revenge on Yamoshi right in front of him. With that, we end today's video. If you want to see the continuation of this incredible story, leave a lot of likes in the video and comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you another day, guys!